what it is. There's King and King Leonidas, and
Right.
there's like this bottomless pit there, and in the movie he's kicking a bunch of people down this pit, and I was just wondering,
Oh, wow.
as he kicked them down this bottomless pit, I wonder if there were some like tables set, and there were some aliens down there. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm just
you
thinking.
never know. But I mean,
Yeah.
well, for example, I did read. My husband is working on a voluminous. It's basically a family history, but it brings in all the world and political history, all through all these years. I mean, his dad actually did, the military, like I said, gave information to the. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, I just got a big beep.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're listening.
They are. I know they are. His dad. There it is again. Okay, maybe I won't say that. His dad was involved with certain movies and TV shows.
Okay.
That are very relevant today.
Any particular one?
Stargate.
Okay.
The others, and even like, the Star Wars stuff, and I mean, they knew Roddenberry, and they were giving him information for Star Trek, and, George Lucas and all those guys were getting information. It's amazing what gets funded by the military.
Mm-hmm. All right, so. We have this question on the Fast Blast for you. Can aliens transform themselves into pure energy?
Ooh, that's a good question. And I don't have a definitive answer on that. I know that there are energy beings that I would not classify as aliens because I believe they're here on Earth and they love this planet.
Really? Well, they can't have it.
Pardon me?
They can't have it. I don't care how much.
It's already there. I mean, it's like the elemental realm. It's the fairies and the sprites and that kind of stuff. But this is their world, and they would defend it.
Well, maybe they can transform into a tree and just leave.
No. You don't want to.
I can say that again. I can say that.
I've just dealt with a week's worth of rain in my city almost flooding last night.
Well, see, I can say that again based on the information I learned from a couple of shows ago. That said that the aliens don't really like jokes, and that bugs them. And so I guess every once in a while you can. Anyway, we have this here. How about this? Have you heard of any praying mantis type aliens that may be called trogs? Are they trogs?
Yes.
What's going on with that?
Hello. Yes. No. One of and this comes up in several of the missions, and especially the one at that asteroid Vesta. There is a species called trogs. They're like 7 to 9 feet tall. They're kind of like half. It's a cross between like a praying mantis and an ant. They're not friendly, and it's basically their job to do the black market. Abduction. Swoop down and cull thousands of humans and take them out to space and market them off to the other species.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and in fact, in our report called The Battle of the China Gates, and it was in 1976, that's what they were doing in China as, other things were happening other places. But in July of 76, there was a huge earthquake in China that's, you can verify it on the internet. And that happened, to hide the fact that they were stealing thousands of people.
Well, and again, we addressed this last week, and I can also address it with you. It does seem that even the government admits so many hundreds of thousands of people are missing every year, and those are just in countries that have a civilization, and so those other countries that are not as developed, who knows how many are missing from them? Exactly,
and it's not all, just weirdos kidnapping them. So you look at places where you have huge tsunamis and you have hurricanes and big earthquakes, and those are perfect ways to hide mass abductions.
Mm-hmm. So now, are you seeing?
That as it sounds.
And speaking of mass abductions, are you seeing any time in the future where there will be an even larger? Or is there ever going to be a time when millions of people are going to be abducted at the same time?
I don't have that kind of information.
Every once in a while we get that. So, is there any hope for your husband to get out of jail?
I'm working. I refuse to give up hope. So I'm hoping there is. He technically has a life without parole sentence. So it makes it even more difficult, but I'm still working on his case, and I'm hoping, and I'm not talking about this kind of stuff as like a publicity ploy, but I mean, it's just part of my life. I am researching this stuff, and it is interesting, and I think we need to get information out there, but I'm also trying to use that as, oh, and see, and look what they do to people like my husband who, maybe would fight them. And he would be out there fighting the New World Order if he could. The Bushes and he are no friends. They know each other. They're not friends. So, President Bush knows exactly where my husband is and would love to have him rot there and die there. But I won't give up hope.
Yeah. Okay. We have this question from the live chat. Was Walt Disney an alien?
I hope not. I love Walt Disney. I have no information on that.
Mm. Well, I'll tell you what. I think Mickey Mouse was. Okay, here's a question. Did you meet your husband after he was in prison and then get married?
Yes. I met him in 1997. We started writing, then we met, and I was visiting like every week, and we got married 5 years later at prison. And
there's no way he was telling you stories to get your hand in matrimony, was he?
No, because a lot of that, it's not like he dumped this on me all at once. It's been revealed like little peels of an onion slowly over time. And like I said, he's had me do a lot of research before he even told me the heavy stuff.
All right. We have this from the Fast Blast. What is the human breeding program?
Well, in places like Dulce and Pine Gap, Australia, and out in space, there are species who are no longer able to reproduce for themselves because of maybe environmental issues wherever they're from, and several species have found it compatible to breed with humans. So they will kidnap, thousands of young human females to breed with them.
Yeah. Did these breeding programs, did they ever result in giants walking on the earth?
I don't know. I don't know if it was going on, it's like you're talking about a long time ago.
Is it, okay. Well, I don't know. They didn't say.
I don't know. I have no idea. Some of the ones you hear, you see the reports about what was happening in Dulce, and, most of them were hybrid alien types, or some were just totally deformed and just awful, horrible things.
Is, somebody, wrote a question about Michael Jackson, but I'm going to reword the question that was submitted. Did he start to shape shift and just froze? Is that what happened to him?
Michael Jackson?
Yeah, he never really shape-shifted all the way. He kind of got stuck. Is that what happened to him?
I have no clue about him.
Okay. Well, hey, I try not to filter the question too much. If somebody wants to know,
I know.
I gotta be fair,
I know the skin problem he has is
I'm just thinking
skin problem.
Well, I was thinking he was changing and he just got stuck. He didn't have enough power to go.
I've got a problem because I have the same skin problem.
Whoa. Yeah.
But I'm not changing.
Yeah. Somebody named Chriswell stated there's over 70 species, and the question is, do you think there's that many?
Yeah. In the report we have about the Dulce thing back in the late 70s, it says that the military at that time knew of at least 60. They said basically dozens, and I only know of, like I said, 6 or 7. But that's just because those are part of the missions he can tell me about. So there's lots out there. Well, I tell you, you mentioned that we could have him, that while they may be listening, could he cryptically say something in a 15-minute interview? Can he say anything? Wouldn't you think that the people on this program